Okay, class, so today's Wednesday, and this is our assignment that was given on Friday of last week. I'm going to go over the key to the photosynthesis and cell respiration worksheets we gave you guys for our digital day on Friday. And simply put, a lot of this information is pretty straightforward and will help you on your quiz. So if you take the time to watch this video and actually complete these assignments, not only will you get the points that you deserve for doing the work, but you're going to get some good review and preparation for your test, which is going to be Friday. So while I think a lot of us will probably be at home until next week, we're going to finish our unit online this week, and these are ways for us to make the most out of assignments we've already given. So you're not doing extra work, but you are staying on top of what you have learned so you can finish this unit and we don't get set behind in class. Um, I know some of you may have some issues seeing this video or having internet. I understand that if that's the case, but hopefully these resources help you catch up if you have to when the weather is fixed or better, or the electricity or power comes back on wherever you are. Hopefully none of y'all are experiencing that, and we're okay. We're just staying warm and finding a little bit of time each day to work on some schoolwork. Also, if you want to find some time to go sledding or something, especially now that it's not below zero, please go have some fun. Snow days are rare, and you need to enjoy them. Make some memories, and then you guys can share some of those in class when we get back. But without further ado, we're going to go through this assignment. This is a reading, basically. So first and foremost, chloroplasts. That's what these are. They're in the leaves of plants, and that is our organelle where plants are. We know that from our foldable that we made. Photosynthesis is a process in which sunlight energy is used to make glucose. Glucose is also sugar or the food that plants make. The site of photosynthesis is in the chloroplast, so we also call that the setting, an organelle found in the leaves of green plants. The main functions of chloroplasts are to produce food, that's your glucose, during photosynthesis, the process of taking sunlight and making food, and to store food energy. Chloroplasts contain the pigment chlorophyll, that's the green stuff. Chlorophyll absorbs most of the colors in the color spectrum and reflects only green and yellow wavelengths of light. This is why we see leaves as green or yellow, because these colors are reflected into our eyes. So, just a simple paragraph giving you information. You're going to pull these answers from this paragraph or your notes or what you already know. So, what is photosynthesis? Verbatim, straight from the paragraph, a process in which sunlight is converted into glucose. Where does photosynthesis occur? It occurs in the chloroplast. What are chloroplasts and where are they found? They're an organelle found in the leaves of green plants. What are the two main functions of chloroplasts? The two functions of a chloroplast are to produce glucose and store food energy. So they make it and then they store it. Why do most leaves appear green? The pigment chlorophyll absorbs red-blue wavelengths of light and reflects back green and yellow. That's in the bottom of our paragraph. What is the primary pigment found in chloroplasts? Chlorophyll. So these are your answers, and they're straight from the paragraph. So you just take a little bit of time. You can handle this, okay? Photosynthesis. Glucose is another name for sugar. The molecular formula for glucose is C6H12O6. Plants make sugar by using the energy from sunlight to transform CO2 from the air with water from the ground into glucose. This process, called photosynthesis, occurs in the chloroplast of the plant cell. During this process, oxygen, O2, is created as a waste product and is released into the air for us to breathe. The formula for photosynthesis is, and notice it says reactants and products. Reactants are on the left, that's what we start with. They react and produce products. So we have CO2 plus H2O plus sunlight yields C6H12O6, glucose, and oxygen. Dab. No, I just had to sneeze. This formula says that carbon dioxide plus water molecules are combined with energy from sunlight to produce sugar and oxygen. The reactants in photosynthesis, what is used, are CO2, water, and sun. The plant gets water from the ground through its roots. The plant collects carbon dioxide from the air. Much of the carbon dioxide comes from living organisms that exhale, breathe it out, but some also comes from factory smokestacks and car fumes. What is the formula for photosynthesis? Right here, it's explicit. What three things are used to make glucose in photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. So these questions for these paragraphs are very similar to what you'll see in your test. Where does the water come from? It comes from the ground. Where does the water enter the plant? Through the roots. And three sources of CO2. So exhale from animals and pollution from factories and cars. What type of energy does the plant use to convert CO2 and H2O into sugar? Sunlight. Okay, so it says energy from sunlight. These answers are copied specifically straight from the paragraphs, but there are some simple answers like sunlight or CO2 that you could kind of know in your head, which will help you. The products are glucose and oxygen. The glucose produced is used by the plant for energy and growth. We also use this glucose by eating plants. The oxygen produced is released into the air for us to breathe. Photosynthesis is essential for all life on Earth because it provides food and oxygen. Plants are considered autotrophs because, unlike us humans, they can make their own food using this process. What is produced in photosynthesis? Glucose and oxygen. What is glucose for? It's used by the plant for energy and growth. Animals use glucose for energy and growth by eating plants. What is the oxygen used for? The oxygen is released and animals use it to breathe. And then there's a picture here. This is where you would have copied and pasted pictures or put it in words. Photosynthesis in a picture, you find one online. This is what it might look like. Photosynthesis in words, photosynthesis in symbols is our equation. So, and that's the end of photosynthesis. So, our second assignment was on cellular respiration. So now, how do animals, like humans, process this food? And then there's a relationship between the two that we already learned from our previous assignments. So let's start with this, finish this up, and you guys can use this to help you complete your assignment. Cellular respiration, breaking down energy. Mitochondria are known as the powerhouses of the cell. They are organelles that act like a digestive system that takes in nutrients, breaks them down, and creates energy for the cell. The process of creating cell energy is known as cellular respiration. Most of the chemical reactions involved in cellular respiration happen in the mitochondria. A mitochondrion is shaped perfectly to maximize its efforts. Number one, what process happens in the mitochondria? The answer is cellular respiration. What is the purpose of the process in number one? What does it create? The purpose of cellular respiration is to take nutrients and break them down for energy. So cellular respiration is all about getting energy from food. So we break the food down, and the energy is what goes through the body. Introduction to cellular respiration. Organisms, such as plants and algae, can trap the energy in sunlight through photosynthesis and store it in the chemical bonds of carbohydrates molecules. The principal carbohydrate formed through photosynthesis is glucose. Other types of organisms, such as animals, fungi, protozoa, and a large portion of the bacteria, are unable to perform this process. Therefore, these organisms must rely on the carbohydrates formed in plants to obtain the energy necessary for their metabolic processes. This means they must eat plants and other animals in order to gain energy. Some organisms perform photosynthesis to produce energy. Other organisms cannot do photosynthesis. What can they do in order to generate energy? Organisms that cannot perform photosynthesis must eat carbohydrates. So they eat food, they consume. We call them consumers. Number four, animals and other organisms obtain the energy available in carbohydrates through the process of cellular respiration. What is the purpose of cellular respiration? And the purpose of cellular respiration is to take nutrients and break them down for energy. for the cell. So really breaking down that food or digesting. So now we break it down, we get rid of the waste, and we use the energy in the bonds to live and function. Cells take the carbohydrates in their cytoplasm, and through a complex series of metabolic processes, they break down the carbohydrates and release the energy. The energy is generally not needed immediately. Rather, it is used to combine adenosine diphosphate, ADP, with another phosphate to form adenosine triphosphate, ATP molecules. The ATP can be used for processes in the cells that require energy, much as a battery powers a mechanical device. During the process of cellular respiration, carbon dioxide is given off. Plant cells use this carbon dioxide during photosynthesis to form new carbohydrates. What happens to carbohydrates during cellular respiration? Carbohydrates are broken down into stored energy, ATP. So that energy is stored and it's ready. The glucose it's not ready to be used. ATP is. So anytime your body needs the energy, boom, they just use an ATP, use an ATP, use an ATP. And you go through cellular respiration to store up that ATP so it's ready to go. Okay. What is the chemical energy in the cell called? The chemical energy in the cell is called ATP. Remember that. Okay. What does ATP stand for? Adenosine triphosphate. And you don't have to remember that, but it's something we learned. So what is one product of cellular respiration? Carbon dioxide is one product. How do animals get rid of the carbon dioxide? Animals get rid of carbon dioxide by exhaling it into the atmosphere. What body system is involved with removing waste? The respiratory and circular systems, removing carbon dioxide, and then your digestive system removes some of your waste that's not necessarily carbon dioxide and H2O. Yeah. Also, in this process of cellular respiration, oxygen gas is required to serve as an acceptor of electrons. The oxygen is identical to the oxygen gas given off during photosynthesis. Oxygen is a product or reactant of respiration. Oxygen is a reactant of cellular respiration, so you need it to do it. All right. So this table here shows us what goes on here. Here's the reaction for photosynthesis, and it happens in the chloroplast. And here's the reaction for cellular respiration. It happens in the mitochondria. And where it says energy here, that could be called ATP. And then here's a reflection question. You guys just have your own answer here. Basically talking about that relationship, how they depend on each other. How do animals need energy from plants? And how do plants use the waste of animals to keep producing energy? Okay, so that's those two assignments. They're worksheets. Lots of those answers to those questions are straight on your kind of exam that you'll see. And everything you need to know about photosynthesis and cellular respiration are in these two assignments that we've given you, the gizmo and these two worksheets here. We haven't assigned anything new this week, but we've just given you some support so you can complete these two assignments. And you should have learning that happens with these two assignments that prepares you for Friday's test. Tomorrow, we're going to review. So you'll have a Kahoot that's going to help give you examples of questions you might see and see how well you know it. And then maybe some other examples of things you can do to prepare. And then Friday, it'll be real simple. We're just going to have a Google form test that will be posted on Classroom. Y'all stay warm, have some fun, take a little bit of time to stay caught up and know your stuff. So Friday's test is easy. You can make a great grade and you can enjoy your weekend. Hopefully there'll be a little snow left over for you to have some fun with. And then next week, we'll get some warmer temperatures and hopefully start moving towards spring. There are 3 weeks left in second quarter. So also just a PSA, make sure that your parents fill out the parent-teacher conference forms. Those are next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, and we will be at school and arranging phone calls or Zoom meetings with your parents. We just want to make sure that you guys know what you can be doing to stay caught up, finish second quarter strong, and it's been a crazy one. Lots of quarantines, lots of snow days. But we'll finish that up, and then we got spring break and our last quarter of 7th grade coming up. So I'll get off this video and let you guys enjoy your day. See you. Bye.